Google is shutting down Stadia. Google's big bet on gaming is game over.
Game over, man. It's game over.
How did one of the richest and most powerful companies in the world fail at a big launch again? They just have the most resources in the world. They own search, they own Android, they own YouTube. They should be able to launch a gaming platform, so how the heck did they fail? That's what we're going to look at today. This is Raw Startup. I'm the founder of Vivino, the world's largest wine app and community with over 60 million users all over the world. In my over 20 years as a founder, I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot. One way to learn is to look at these failures. There are definitely lessons to be learned. I've done a few of these videos, one on WeWork, it was definitely not boring, one on Quibi, and one on CNN+. In gaming, I actually did one about the good old Duke Nukem. Today we look at why Stadia failed, but also we look at what Google could have done differently. How could Google have been a better founder for Stadia? With that, let's get started. Number 5, Google being Google. When you build a platform like this, you need a lot of partners, specifically gaming publishers. Gaming publishers that are willing to invest in this new platform. For them to believe in that, they need to believe that Google's going to keep investing in it. And this is where Google's track record is horrible. They keep launching things and shutting them down, even things that people love. Here are some quick examples. Google Talk, Picasa, Google Wave, Play Music, Google Video. Google killed so many projects that somebody made a website called Killed by Google. It is a crazy long list of products and projects killed by Google. They say they're committed.
People have this fear that it's like, I'm going to buy this and Google's going to shut it down, or I'm not going to have access to it, or I want to be able to download it.
Google is incredibly committed to this platform. I'm personally dedicated to this platform.
Well, maybe not really. This is not a good look for Google. Nobody wants to partner with Google when they say they're supportive and then end up shutting things down way too early. I mean, next time you should probably just say, okay, we're doing a 10-year commitment on this platform, or else nobody's ever gonna partner with them. And again, Google's partners are in trouble. They feel blindsided with what happened with Stadia. Okay, so what would be a different approach? Google has to become a credible partner. Google probably needs to spend the next 20 years rebuilding their credibility for anyone to work with them again. Google just can't be someone you can't work with because they shut down projects all the time, leaving their partners in the dust. Basically, they need to launch fewer things and stick with them. Number 4, no killer app. This has always been true. Any platform needs a killer app. Stadia had no killer app or platform exclusives, as they would call it in the gaming industry. Xbox has Halo, PlayStation has Spider-Man, Nintendo has all kinds of different Mario titles. There were no meaningful platform exclusives on Stadia. Gamers need a reason to go to Stadia, a game they couldn't find anywhere else. A real reason to go to Stadia. And what could be a different approach here? In February of 2021, Google shut down their internal Stadia Games Entertainment, their own game-building studio. They were supposed to release exclusive titles for Stadia, but Google shut them down. The solution here is simple. Have your own studio and build your own exclusives. No, says Google. They shut down their own studio. This was a big mistake. It was like cutting an arm of Stadia. They should have kept the studio, built their own AAA games exclusive to Stadia. Maybe even hold back the release of Stadia till they had a proper exclusive. Number 3, too expensive. Stadia was expensive. Very, very expensive. First, you need to pay a monthly subscription of €10 or $10. If you want the Stadia controller, you need to pay another $129 or euros. With all that paid, it's now time to pay full price for the games. They could be all the way up to $60 or euros. This makes no sense at all. It's like paying for Netflix every month, and then on top of that, you have to pay for every movie you watch on Netflix. I mean, that just wouldn't fly. It's like you pay a subscription to be able to pay more. What's a different approach here? Lower the prices. It's pretty simple. Number 2, no momentum. Momentum is about getting the ball rolling and then keep pushing to keep the ball rolling. I think Google did okay on getting the ball rolling. And then they did the most horrible job in keeping the ball rolling. They just didn't keep pushing. In 2020, a Redditor noticed that Google said nothing, released nothing for 40 days. Nothing for 40 days, just silence. Say something, I'm giving up on you. This is just the worst thing you can do when you're trying to keep momentum building a community. This will just kill momentum and everyone in the community will just lose faith. When you launch a platform like this, all eyes are on you. That's everyone in the gaming industry, but also all the gamers. They are looking to see if Google is truly committed or not. That's when you need to show everyone that you're totally committed by releasing all the time and constantly communicating. So what could be a different approach here? You need constant movement and constant momentum. This means releasing all the time and constant communication. 40 days of tumbleweed is not gonna fly. All eyes are on you. You have to show them that there's constant momentum. We are at number 1. Before we get to that, I do startup videos. I do a bit of these failure videos too. If you like this kind of stuff, do press the subscribe button. Number 1, flawed product. Yes, we are at the core of it. The product just wasn't good enough. Basically, the product just wasn't as good as the consoles. Consoles have a better user experience, they are faster, more stable, work anywhere, and they work with unstable internet connections. Also, anyone who likes to play already has a console. There was no real reason to change the Stadia because the product wasn't better. Another thing that limited the supply of games on Stadia was it was based on Linux. This meant that game developers had to invest heavily in converting their games to Stadia. With the lack of trust in Google already, this made things even worse, and most games never made it to Stadia. So what is a different approach to this core thing? Before they launched, they should have made sure the technology was ready. Google was not the first to try this. All the way back in 2009, OnLive was making a big bet on cloud gaming. Obviously, the technology was not ready back in 2009. I believe in releasing early. I believe in releasing an MVP. But if you go into a very competitive and mature market, your product cannot be in beta. Your product has to be very competitive or you will lose. Google did not have that. Remember, you're building a community of gamers, a community of developers. You need to keep them happy. Even Microsoft knew that 30 years ago.
Developers.
You have to release fast and communicate all the time. Keep those gamers and developers happy. In the end, they built a product that didn't work well, for an audience that didn't want it, by a company that nobody trusted to build it. If you want more content just like this, please consider pressing like and subscribe, and you won't miss any future videos. Thank you very much for watching Raw Startup. Now stop watching, go build something.